Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about Kalpasutra. So, what is Kalpasutra? Kalpasutra is a Jain text containing the biographies of the Jain Tirthankaras, notably Parshavnath and Mahavira. And it's a very important text, which is it is considered extremely important, and in many places they would put this text and the sutras on real gold leaves, on real gold sheets. They would engrave it. So you can consider the importance of Kalpasutra. Still, my throat is not all right. Uh, so excuse me for it. I'm taking some medicines. Okay, so let's get started. Traditionally ascribed to Bhadrabahu, which would place it in the 4th century BCE. It was probably put in writing 980 or 993 years after the Nirvana of Mahavira. Mahavira is the 24th Tirthankara. So let's look at this image closely. Detail of a leaf with the birth of God Mahavira, 24th Jain Tirthankara from the Kalpasutra. Okay, so let's look at this in detail. So, so this possibly means to show that the Lord Mahavira was born in a palace, in a royal family. He took birth. Okay, so only monks can read the scriptures, as in Jainism. This book has very high spiritual values. Kalpasutra folio on Mahavira Nirvana. Note the crescent shaped Siddha Shila, a place where all Siddhas reside after Nirvana. Crescent shaped Siddha Shila, where all the Siddhas reside after Nirvana, 15th century. So basically, this is the crescent that you see at the bottom of the picture, where you see the Siddha sitting in a lotus posture, and what else do we see? So the gaze is upward as if the Siddha is meditating. Feels like a thoughtless state. Kalpasutra mentions 9 Ganas and 11 Gandharas of Mahavira. Bhadra Bahu is mentioned as prime Gandhara of Mahavira. So, not much more detail we see over here. Translated in English by Herman Jacobi, is published in this book, The Sacred Books of the East. So let's go back, but we could not find any article on this. No label defined category. Kalpasutra, ancient Jain manuscript written by Bahu. Bhadra Bahu. British Library. This complete was made in Patan, Gujarat in 15th century. But what is the content of this? We do not know. So that's what I'm trying to find from Google over here, if I can get the crux. So let's see this. So here what we find is someone seems to have translated by Herman Jacobi, translated from Prakrit language. Obeisance to the Arhats. Arhats, maybe is it Arihants? Obeisance to the liberated ones, obeisance to the religious guides, obeisance to the religious instructors, obeisance to all the saints in the world. This fivefold obeisance, destroying all sins, is of benediction, the principal benediction. In that period, in that age, lived the venerable ascetic Mahavira. Okay, so basically, what this is nothing but the Namo Hantaram mantra, which is Namo Hantaram, Namo Siddharam, Namo Ayaryaram, Namo Vajharam, Namo Loe Savasahuram. So that is the mantra. In that period, in that age, lived the venerable ascetic Mahavira, the five most important movements of whose life happened when the moon was in conjunction with the asterism Uttara Falguni. To wit, in Uttara Falguni he descended from heaven, and having descended, he entered the womb of Devananda. In Uttara Falguni he was removed from the to the womb of Srisala. In Uttara Falguni he was born. In Uttar Falguni, tearing out his hair, he left the house and entered the state of houselessness. In Uttar Falguni, he obtained the highest knowledge and intuition called Kevala, which is infinite, supreme, unobstructed, unimpeded, complete, and perfect. But in Swati, the Venerable One obtained final liberation. Lecture 2. In that period, in that age, the Venerable ascetic Mahavira, having on the 6th day of the 4th month of summer in the 8th fortnight, the light of Ashadha descended from the great Vimana, the all victorious and all prosperous Pushpottara, which is like the lotus amongst the best things, where he had lived for 20 Sagara Puropamas till the termination of his allotted length of life. of his divine nature and of his existence among gods here in the continent of Gambudivip in Bharatvarsha. When of his Avasarpini era, the Sushma and Sushma periods, and the greater part of the Dushma period containing a Kodakodi of Sagaropa less 42,000 years had elapsed, and only 72 years, 8.5 months were left after 21 Tirthankaras of the race of Ishvaku and of the Kasyapa Gotra and two of race of Hari and of the Gautam Gotra. On the whole, 23 Tirthankaras had appeared. The venerable ascetic Mahavira, the last of the Tirthankaras, took the form of an embryo in the womb of Devananda of the Gandharyana Gotra, the wife of the Brahman Rishabdatta of the Gotra of Kodala in the Brahmanical part of the town Kundagrama in the middle of the night, when the moon was in conjunction with the asterism Uttar Falguni after his allotted length of life of his divine nature and of his existence had come to their termination. The knowledge of the venerable ascetic Mahavira about this was threefold. He knew that he was to descend. He knew that he had descended. He knew not where he was descending. In that night in which the venerable ascetic Mahavira took the form of an embryo in the womb of the Brahmani Devananda of the Galandharyana Gotra, the Brahmani Devananda was on her couch taking fits of sleep, in a state between sleeping and waking, and having seen the following 14 illustrious, beautiful, lucky, blessed, auspicious, fortunate, great dreams, she woke up. An elephant, a bull, a lion, the anointing of the goddess Sri, a garland, the moon, the sun, a flag, a vase, a lotus lake, the ocean, a celestial abode, a heap of jewels, and a flame. When the Brahmani Devananda, having seen these dreams, woke up, she glad, pleased, and joyful in her mind, delighted, extremely enraptured, with a heart widening under the influence of happiness, with the hair of her body all erect in their pores, like the flowers of the Kadamba touched by raindrops, firmly fixed the dreams in her mind, and rose from her couch, neither hasty nor trembling, with a quick and even gait like that of the royal swan. She went to the Brahmana Rishabdatta and gave him the greeting of victory. Then she comfortably sat down in an excellent chair of state, calm and composed, joining the palms of her hands so as to bring the 10 nails together. She laid the folded hands on her head and spoke thus: O beloved of the gods, I was just now on my couch taking fits of sleep, in a state between sleeping and waking, when I saw the following 14 illustrious great dreams, to wit, an elephant. O beloved of the gods, what to be sure will be the happy result portended by these 14 illustrious great dreams. When the Brahmana Rishabdatta had heard and perceived this news from the Brahmani Devananda, he glad, pleased, and joyful, and entered upon considering them. He grasped the meaning of those dreams with his own innate intellect and intuition, which were preceded by reflection, and thus spoke to the Brahmani Devananda. O beloved of the gods, you have seen illustrious dreams. O beloved of the gods, you have seen beautiful, lucky, blessed, auspicious, fortunate dreams which will bring health, joy, long life, bliss, and fortune. We shall have success. O beloved of the gods, we shall have pleasure, we shall have happiness. O beloved of the gods, we shall have a son. Indeed, O beloved of the gods, after the lapse of 9 complete months and 7.5 days, you will give birth to a lovely and handsome boy with tender hands and feet, with a body containing the entire and complete 5 organs of sense, with the lucky signs, marks, and good qualities, a boy on whose body all limbs will be well formed, and of full volume, weight, and length, of a lovely figure like that of the moon. And this boy, after having passed his childhood and with just ripened intellect, having reached the state of youth, will repeat, fully understand, and well retain in his mind the 4 Vedas. The Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, Tharva Veda, to which the Itihas is added as the fifth, and the Nighantu as a sixth Veda, together with the Rangas and Upangas and the Rahasya. He will know the 6 Angas, he will be versed in the philosophy of the 60 categories. And well grounded in arithmetic and phonetics, ceremonial grammar, meter, etymology, and astronomy, and in many other Brahmanical sciences besides. Therefore, O beloved of the gods, you have seen illustrious dreams. In this way, he repeatedly expressed his extreme satisfaction. When the Brahmani Devananda had heard and perceived this news from the Brahmana Rishabdatta, she glad, pleased, and joyful, joining the palms of her hands, and spoke thus: That is so, O beloved of the gods, that is exactly so. O beloved of the gods, that is true. O beloved of the gods, that is beyond doubt. O beloved of the gods, that is what I desire. O beloved of the gods, that is what I accept. Thus saying, she accepted. So basically, she's just praising. Thus saying, she accepted the true meaning of the dreams and enjoyed together with Rishabdatta the noble permitted pleasures of human nature. In that period, in that age, Sakra, the chief and king of the gods, the wielder of the thunderbolt, the destroyer of towns, the performer of 100 sacrifices, the thousand and eyed one, Maghavan, the punisher of the Daityapaka, the lord of the southern half of the earth, the lord of the 32,000 celestial abodes, the best rider of the elephant, Iravata, the chief of the Suras, who wears spotless clothes and robes, and puts on garlands and the diadem, whose cheeks were stroked by fine, bright, and trembling earrings of fresh gold, the most prosperous, the most brilliant, the most mighty, the most glorious, the most powerful, and the most happy one. Excuse me, like for the cough that I'm having. With a splendid body ornamented with a long, down-reaching garland, this Sakra was in the Swadharma Kalpa, in this celestial abode, Swadharma, Avatam Saka in the council hall, Sudharman on his throne, Sakra, he who exercises and maintains the supreme command government. So basically, someone they are referring to, and the venerable ascetic Mahavira taking the form of an embryo in the womb of glad, pleased, and joyful in his mind, delighted, extremely enraptured, with the heart widening under the influence of happiness, touched by raindrops, with his eyes and mouth open like full blown lotuses, with his excellent face trembling, bracelets. So I'm just reading in my mind right now. You can also check this out. I hope you are reading on the screen now. So my throat is paining kind of. So what they are referring to in this document, in this text, the liberated ones, the conquerors and the grantors of conquest, the saved and the saviors, the enlightened and the enlighteners, the liberated and the liberators, to the all knowing ones, the all seeing ones, to those who have reached the happy, stable, unstained, infinite, unperishable, undecaying place called the path of perfection, whence there is no return. Reverence to the Ginas who have conquered fear. Reverence to the venerable ascetic Mahavira, the Dikara, the last of the Tirthankaras who was predicted by the former Tirthankaras. I here adore the revered one yonder, may the revered one yonder see me here. It never has happened, nor does it happen, nor will it happen, that Arahats, Kakravartins, Baladevas, or Vasudevas in the past, present, or future should be born in low families, mean families, degraded families, poor families, indigent families, beggars' families, or Brahmanical families. For indeed, Arhats, Kakravartins, Baladevas, and Vasudevas in the past, present, and future are born in high families, noble families, royal families, noblemen's families, in families belonging to the race of Ikshvaku or of Hari, or in other such like families of pure descent on both sides, women of the Brahmani Devananda of the Galandharyana Gotra. Thus he reflected and called Haren Gamesi, the divine commander of the foot troops, having called him, he spoke thus. Remove the venerable ascetic Mahavira from the Brahmanical part and place the embryo of the Kshatriyani Trisala. Having done this, return quickly to report on the execution of my orders. So here they are talking about some particles. So I read somewhere that spirit or soul is something like particles which accompany in the body. So that is what gross particles. So let's read this in detail. When Hari Nagimasi, the divine commander of the foot troops, was thus spoken to by Sakra, the chief and king of the gods, he, glad, pleased, and joyful, he rejected the gross particles and retained the subtle particles. Then, for a second time, he transformed himself through his magical power of transformation and produced the definite form, which gods adopt on entering the world of men. Having done so, he passed with that excellent, hasty, trembling, active, impetuous, victorious, exalted, and quick divine motion of the gods right through numberless continents and oceans and arrived in Gambudweep in Bharatvarsha in the Brahmanical part of the town Kudagrama, at the house of the Brahman Rishabdatta, where the Brahmani Devananda dwelt. Having arrived there, he made his bow in the sight of the venerable ascetic Mahavira and cast the Brahmani Devanand together with her retinue into a deep sleep. Then he took off all unclean particles, and brought forth the clean particles, and saying, May the Venerable One permit me. He took the Venerable ascetic Mahavira in the folded palms of his hand without hurting him. Thus he went to the Kshatriya part of the town, Kudagrama, to the house of the Kshatriya Siddharth, where the Kshatriyani Trisala dwelt. He cast her and her attendants into a deep sleep, took off all unclean particles, and brought forth the clean particles, and placed the embryo of the Venerable Mahavira in the womb of the Kshatriyani Trisala, and the embryo of the Kshatriyani Trisala he placed in the womb of the Brahmani Devananda of the Galandharyana Gotra. Having done so, he returned in that direction in which he had come. With that excellent divine motion of the gods, he flew upwards right through numberless continents and oceans, taking thousands of yoganas in each motion, and arrived in the Swadharma Kalpa, in the divine abode called Swadharma Avatam Saka, where Sakra, the chief and king of the gods, sat on the throne called Sakra, and reported to Sakra, the chief and king of the gods, on the execution of his orders. In that period, in that age, the knowledge of the venerable ascetic Mahavira was threefold. He knew that he was to be removed. He knew that he was removed. He knew not when he was being removed. In that period, in that age, on the 13th day of the 13th month of the rainy season, in the fifth fortnight, the dark of Aswin, after the lapse of 82 days, on the 83rd day current since his conception, the embryo of the venerable ascetic Mahavira was, on the command of Sakra, safely removed by Hari Negamati from the womb of the Brahmani Devananda to that of Kshatriyani Trisla in the middle of the night, when the moon was in conjunction with the asterism Uttara Falguni. Lecture 3. In that night in which the embryo of the venerable ascetic Mahavira was removed from the womb of the Brahmani Devananda of the Galandharyana Gotra to that of the Kshatriya Nitrislav, that in that night in which the latter was in her dwelling place, of which the interior was ornamented with pictures, and the outside whitewashed, furbished, and cleansed. The brilliant surface of the ceiling was painted. The darkness was dispelled by jewels and precious stones. The floor was perfectly level and adorned with auspicious figures, which moreover was furnished with offerings of heaps of delicious, fragrant strewn flowers of all five colors. Was highly delightful through curling scented fumes or black aloe. So here they are just explaining like what in which place he had come. So these are very old texts. Let me tell you, even before Christ. But look at the complexity of the concepts that are being provided here. So when Trisala saw in her first dream a fine enormous elephant possessing all lucky marks, with strong thighs and four mighty tusks, who was whiter than an empty great cloud. Let me see if I can get something for my throat. Yeah, so I'm back. So basically, what the dreams are about an elephant, enormous elephant possessing all lucky marks, with strong thighs, four mighty tusks, wider than an empty great cloud, or a heap of pearls, or the ocean of milk, or the moonbeams, or spray of water, or the silver mountain, Vetadhya, whose temples were perfumed with fragrant musk fluid which attracted the bees. So, which is that silver mountain which they are referring to? So, anyways, let's continue. Equaling the in dimension, the best elephant was the king of the gods. Finally, like the thunder of big and large rain cloud, then she saw a tame lucky bull of a whiter hue than that of the mass of petals of the white lotus, illumining all around by the diffusion of a glory of light. A bull whose lovely, resplendent, beautiful hump was delightful through the recollection of its. So, what this means is, what I infer is that the spirit of that woman was in such a place. So, she's describing like where exactly she saw herself in a dream, like as if she was in some different dimension where she experienced all these, and Brahmin inferred like what exactly this means. So, what they believe is that there are multiple dimensions. So, why they are explaining the dreams? Why they are explaining the dreams is so that a person can understand where he would be, so that a person can understand like in which kind of a dimension he is. So let's then she saw a handsomely shaped playful lion jumping down from the sky towards her face, a delightful and beautiful lion whiter than a heap of pearls, who had strong and lovely forearms, and a mouth adorned with round, large, and well set teeth, whose lovely lips, splendent through their proportions, and soft like a noble lotus, looked as if they were artificially ornamented, whose palate was soft and tender like the petals of the red lotus, and the top of whose tongue was protruding, whose eyes were like pure lightning and revolved like red hot excellent gold. So, this is all what she saw. So right now I'm just reading in my mind. My throat is quite sore. Every mother of a Tirthankara sees these 14 dreams in that night in which the famous Arhat enters her womb. Lecture 4. She was God pleased, descended from neither hasty nor trampling. Okay. So, so now she is describing like what she saw in the dreams. So basically, what is happening is once Lord Mahavira was placed in another womb. So here you can see this is Shat- Kshatriyani Trisala. So basically, she got a dream. So so let's see over here. And now she is telling the story to Kshatriya Siddharth. So basically, this is all the details that you can read side by side. Quickly, O beloved of the gods, call the interpreters of dreams who well know the science of prognostics with its 8 branches and are well versed in many sciences besides. So, what exactly it is written over here? Triangular where 3 or 4 roads meet, courtyard, square, the houses, caves. In the night in which the venerable ascetic Mahavira was brought into the family of the Gnatris, their silver increased, their gold increased, their riches, corn, majesty, and kingdom increased. Their real valuable property as riches, the intensity of their popularity and liberality highly increased. At that time, the following personal reflection desirable idea occurred to parents of the venerable ascetic Mahavira. From the moment that this our boy has been begotten, our silver increased, our gold increased, the intensity of our liberality and popularity highly increased. Therefore, when this our boy will be born, we shall give him the fit name attributive and conformable to his quality, Vardhamana. Then the following idea occurred to the mind of the Kshatriyani Trisala. Thus, with anxious thoughts and ideas plunged in a sea of sorrow and misery, reposing her head on her hand, then the venerable ascetic Mahavira, knowing that such an internal idea had occurred to the mind, he quivered a little. It will not behove me during the life of my parents to tear out my hair and leaving the house to enter the state of houselessness. Trisla, perfectly healthy, herself gave birth to a perfectly healthy boy. Lecture 5. In the night in which the venerable ascetic Mahavira was born, there was a divine luster originated by many descending and ascending gods and goddesses, and in the universe resplendent with one light, the conflux of gods occasioned great confusion and noise. In that night in which the venerable ascetic Mahavira was born, many demons in Vesramana's service belonging to the animal world rained down on the palace of King Siddhartha one great shower of silver, gold, diamonds, clothes, ornaments, leaves, flowers, fruit, seeds, garlands, perfume, sandal, powder, and riches. After the Bhavnapati, Vyantara, Jyotishka, and Vaimanika gods had celebrated the feast of the inauguration of the Tirthankara's birthday, the Kshatriya Siddhartha called at the break of the morning. From the moment that this our boy has been begotten, our silver increased, our gold increased. By his parents, he was called Vardhamana because he is devoid of love and hate. He is called Sramana because he stands fast in midst of dangers and fears, patiently bears hardships and calamities, adheres to the chosen rules of penance, is, is wise indifferent to the pleasure and pain, rich and controlled, and gifted with fortitude. The name Venerable Ascetic Mahavira has been given him by the gods. Before the Venerable Ascetic, Mahavira had adopted the life of a householder. That is, before his marriage, he possessed supreme, unlimited, unimpeded knowledge and intuition. The Venerable Ascetic Mahavira perceived with this his supreme, unlimited knowledge and intuition that the time for his renunciation had come. He left his silver, he left his gold, he left his riches, God, majesty, and kingdom, his army, grain, treasure, So what is Kevala? Maybe I'll make a video on it. Gain the supreme best knowledge called Kevala. So I have to research on this topic and maybe do some video. So I guess I am going to stop over here. So the obstacles are of four kinds with regard to matter, space, time, effects. With regards to matter, things animate, inanimate, and of a mixed state. With regard to space, in a village or a town or in a wood or in a field. Courtyard with regard to time, in a summer or in the time of rest, or in a day, the month. So we have to see this in more detail because it's quite complex. So, so with supreme knowledge, with supreme intuition, supreme contact. He was a Kevalin, omniscient and comprehending all objects. He knew all conditions of the world of gods. Came where they go, whether they are born as men or animals, or become gods or hell beings. This occurred in the year called Kandra II, the fortnight on the day of Suvratagni. Free from all pains, a great confusion and noise was originating by many descending and ascending gods. Cut asunder the tie of friendship which he had for his master. So basically, I think this is near the end. So, life of Rishthanemi. So, this seems to be quite big. So, so I think some details and all of people are given. Not sure, like if these are gods or what. Rules for yatis. So I think some rules for the monks, like how they can, how they cannot. So some rules for them. Okay, so finally this is over, but we haven't gone over this completely, and these 5 lectures we saw, and then all these parts after life of Parsava, this we just skimmed it through. But anyways, we got some understanding like what is the Kalpasutra, and I'm going to stop this video here. So thanks a lot for watching.